A little Florida Front-7 preview. And I went back and I watched USF in Florida from last weekend once again. I've now watched it 3 times. And then LSU Florida from last year because
2 claps for Kinfolk in the chat. You're happy.
Yeah, great. I know. I love it. The Florida Front-7 ate LSU alive offensively last year. And I wanted to go down the list, give you a little preview of what to expect on Saturday from these guys on this Florida Front-7. They have a deep front line. I went through about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defensive linemen that all got in the mix. They've got some outside linebackers that they are dubbed jack linebackers. And then they've got those off-ball linebackers that were pretty impressive as well. Obviously, LSU's Front-7 will start there. Pretty impressive through the first 2 weeks, I would say. Yeah. Lloyd, Jonathan, y'all agree?
I'm happy.
Front-7 for LSU's been pretty good?
Pretty good.
They've hit on a couple of these transfers. Obviously now without Sadir Mitchell, but I would say the Front-7 for LSU has been quite dominant.
Excellent
up to this point.
I think we're sitting on a big Gooden game coming up soon. Okay, he's been right there a handful of times, just really beating the shit out of his man and not quite being able to get to the quarterback. But he's been so impressive.
No, I agree.
That was my biggest shock because I didn't know. It seemed maybe he was a little undersized and they were talking him up and it was like, well, Don McKinley's the freak, but he's just been
he's been a monster.
Business.
Well, my favorite part of the Bernard Gooden conversation is, what team did? No, what I want to say is, first of all, thank God he's not on USF still.
Cool,
because then they'd be just an absolute freak show of a team. But he's a former USF Bull who obviously the USF just beat Florida, so it'll be USF versus Florida again. Yeah. Just this time, he's an LSU Tiger. No, I think Bernard Gooden has been just absolutely dominant up to this point for LSU. I think the front line gets forgotten about for LSU when you talk about the Front-7 because the back 3, the 3 linebackers with Perkins, Weeks, and Weeks have just been so good. Like Harold Perkins, free, playing his position where he fits. He's comfortable. He's confident. Whit Weeks, obviously the most consistent player on the roster. But the linebacker I wanted to talk about for LSU is West Weeks. Mm-hmm. He's been a pleasant surprise where he's just come in. He's been flying around, sure-handed tackler. The play that him and Whit made where they saw the quarterback step up in the pocket and they just both made a beeline and met at the QB was awesome. Needed to get that photograph and frame it in the Weeks household.
Look at this photograph.
But I think that I think that the linebackers have been so good, and then just the guys. My favorite part about the Front-7 for LSU outside of the linebackers, that front line, the front 4, is just the rotation they have, where they keep guys fresh. Gooden is fresh, Guillory is fresh, McKinley, Bro, Peyton, Butler, Relaford, Pyburn, revenge game against Florida. They keep them fresh, and they're just. They're so creative. Blake Baker's so creative with that group, and I think that both Peoples and Williams have done a great, great job with that front line. And then obviously the linebacking core, to me, is the best in the country right now.
I hope we get a full the program game out of Pyburn.
That would, yeah.
Not this when he was not breaking all the rules.
Right. But if he just went, full face paint, just
break a window.
Yeah, just run through somebody's face. I'm excited to see what the Front-7 for LSU looks like this year. But to talk about Florida's Front-7, probably, defensively, we talked about their DBs yesterday, not impressed. Front-7, I was impressed. They did play relatively well, and they have a lot of talent in that room. I'll go down the list of names of guys that they have. Obviously, the first name and the highlighted guy for Florida's Front-7, Tyreek Sapp, big number 94. 6'2.5", 274. He's got strong hands. He's good at the point of attack. He's great versus the run. And he's a little bit smaller than the other guys they have because they have some big dudes. Big. And so he's about 6'2", 6'3", so he gets really good leverage, which is not good for LSU because that's one place LSU's offensive line has not done a particularly good job with getting leverage, especially in the run game.
Yep.
And he does a great job there. He's versatile. They play him inside and outside. Against USF, he had 49 snaps, 5 tackles, 2 for loss, and 1 sack. Next up, another defensive lineman, number 24, Cameron James. He is massive, 6'5.5", 270. He's a junior. He's got really good length. He's flexible. He's quick. He's done a good job for them so far this season. Number 90, Brendan Bett, a transfer from Baylor.
Might be.
Yeah, I was going to. Yes,
sorry. You jump up.
No, it's all right. But there's Tyreek Sapp, just a freak of nature, and he caused some problems last year.
What happened to
LSU.
football pants?
That's a dude.
You mean the Daisy Dukes?
That guy can.
I mean, I guess when you have quads and thighs that look like that, you don't really
He's
need.
returning punts.
You
No,
don't really
he's not.
need
You could go out there in a
thigh
in a
pads.
tutu, and I'd be terrified.
But Brendan Bett, yes, he did have a key penalty for USF late in that game as he spit on somebody on that final drive.
Little we started.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know.
What is going on?
But he may or may not play against LSU. I mean, he should not play in the game. Like, if you're going to run a real program, you had a guy that spit on another player just in a vacuum, not very good. But second, the time in the game when he did it.
Did he get ejected?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, it's
When
the
was that an ejection?
It's the last drive of the game.
Yeah.
Like, USF is trying to go win the football game, and you get a key
This is a
unsportsmanlike
great
penalty.
spit, though.
Just right through the
right
face
in his
mask.
mouth.
Gosh. But look at
Call
the
me
official.
daddy.
Look at the official.
Stupid.
Right there. He's standing right there.
Right there.
And
He
so,
spit in his mouth.
even if, the ejection, if he's suspended for the first half or not, Florida should suspend him for the entire game because it's just bad for the program. Like, this is the fourth quarter drive inside 2
his
minutes.
mouth so wet?
But Brendan Bay's a redshirt sophomore, 6'5", 308. He had 37 snaps, 5 tackles, and they all got overplayed by that penalty there. A key guy to keep an eye on.
Did you see what Billy said?
He said that he spoke to the team. They're handling it in-house, internally.
That's not a suspicion.
You know how many times I've heard that about...
He said he's real sorry.
That's not how this works. He screwed your team over in the last drive of the game and was unsportsmanlike.
I'm trying to protect him. I need my job.
Yeah,
And
well,
he's a part of this.
whatever. Like,
If we lose,
Florida
I get
very
to-
well could win that game if he doesn't spit in that guy's mouth at the end and get a penalty.
Does Billy Napier get to spit in his mouth if they lose?
I don't know. Stop. Wrong turn. That was a bad. Just bad. Next up,
bad.
a guy to keep an eye on, number 88, Caleb Banks for Florida. Don't know if he's going to play. I would assume he will. He's had an injury. He didn't play. He has not played yet this season, but he was a monster against LSU last week, and they have not announced if he is going to play or not. You should hear something starting today through Saturday when they start to give injury reports and let you know what the situation is. So you should find out soon. But this guy, big 88, Caleb Banks, is a monster. He is 6'6", 330 pounds.
That's all.
Just a large human, and caused a lot of problems for LSU last season. I mean, just was a problem. So that's one to keep your eye on, and we're gonna. I have some more things.
There you go. Oh, never mind. We're right into Jesus Christ, nuts.
Yeah, to dive into. I have some more tidbits on a handful of the guys on this list to get into later. Caleb Banks is one of them. Next up, Mashai Boro, I believe is how you say it.
Yeah, this was my
number 93.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 350 pounds, sophomore. He played 44 snaps, 5 tackles. Kinfolk, what did you have on him?
I mean, just from the little bit that I watched and from his pure size, it seems like this is the exact kind of guy we don't want to face right now.
Right.
You know? I mean, Jacques said it, like La Tech largely runs a 3-3-5, right? And we had a lot of trouble moving against them. And these boys are bigger.
Yes, and
they're
stronger.
a lot bigger and stronger. And he's one of the dudes that I was kind of focused on in terms of that's going to be a problem because we're not good at
right. He's an
making
interior
dudes
guy.
like that move.
Yeah, he's an
like
interior
you said,
guy.
Like Sapp
Straight up
gets
nose
low,
tackle?
Sapp gets low and he gets around, but this dude is just that. Take
Sapp-
out 2 blockers.
Sapp moves around. He's got really good leverage. And 93, he's just a big old guy that just will blow up the interior, as well as Caleb Banks, number 88. I think Banks will cut in a little bit into what 93 Boro can do, because just how much will they be on the field together.
Yeah.
But those two guys can cause problems for LSU. And then you have number 95, Jamari Lyons, redshirt junior, 6'4", 318. He had 33 snaps and 1 tackle. He is coming back from an injury this season. Next up, number 33, Brian Taylor Jr., senior, 6'5", 295. Like, these guys are just huge. I've gone through the list up to this point. 6'3", 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", just massive.
But and you could say the same thing about LSU's offensive line. If you look at
if you're just looking at size. Yeah, if you're just looking at measurables. 33 snaps, 2 tackles against USF. He played JUCO ball at Blinn. And then at Jack linebacker, they have George Gums Jr., redshirt senior, 6'4", 250. He had 51 snaps, 3 tackles, and a QB hurry against USF. Jack linebacker number 15, Jaden Woods, a true freshman that played a lot against USF, 6'3", 250, 25 snaps, 2 tackles. He was a flip from Penn State coming out of high school. And then another guy at that Jack linebacker position, number 11, LJ McCray, sophomore, 6'6", 270. He played 4 snaps, had 1 QB hurry. He was a 5-star coming out of high school.
We looked out on him, though. He is undergoing foot surgery.
There you go.
Because he was the other one that the film really stood out to me.
I mean, he only played 4 snaps and had a QB hurry.
But like his high school, I went and looked at the recruiting stuff, and he was just explosive.
5-star coming out of high school.
Yeah, I think top 10 in the country kind of guy.
And so you can add to what you're saying, like, if Billy Napier's done anything, he's recruited to that aspect. Like, they've got players. It just hasn't really – he got dealt we all love Sunbelt Billy. I mean, Some would say there's a previous show that was kowtowing for him to be the head coach. I don't know if that were the case, but –
But this is the strength of their team.
Yes,
for sure. I mean, and it's also the place that without Braylon, we're most vulnerable.
Right. And at the linebacking core, you have Miles Graham, sophomore, 6'1", 230, number 5. He was a freshman All-SEC last year. He had 8 tackles, 2 QB hurries against USF. He is their best tackler on their team. Another linebacker, number 8, Aaron Childs, sophomore, 6'3", 245, 2 tackles, a QB hurry, and a pass breakup against USF. And then linebacker number 29, Jaden Robinson, junior, 6 foot, 215? Or no, I don't remember what. 225, that's what that says. 61 snaps, 9 tackles, 4 solos, and a pass breakup. Was all over the field. Number 10, Grayson Howard Jr. He is number 10, 6'4", 235, 1 tackle, coming back from injury. The couple of guys that I highlighted coming into this game, obviously number 94, Tyreek Sapp. He's a freak of nature. Like I said, he's a little smaller than everyone else in these rooms, but he dominated LSU last season. 8 tackles, 4 solos, 4 TFLs, just completely destroyed what LSU wanted to do last season, and a big reason. And that line for LSU last year, I think we can all say was considerably better, especially in pass pro, than what they are rolling out there this season.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 4 NFL guys on that line, with one of them being a top 5 pick.
I guess the little bit of solace that I kind of took away from this, like seeing these guys, because they are all athletes. They're big recruits. They're big fucking dudes. They're fast on the outside, but there's not the same amount of high end talent that Clemson had.
Yes, I agree.
And granted, Braylon is the huge question mark here, but we did handle those guys as well as we really could have hoped for. So the ability is going to be there to neutralize some of this and hopefully not have it be as brutal as it was last year. But,
And then another one I highlighted, number 90, Brandon Bett, just because he might not be playing. He spit on that guy's face against USF. He also played in one game last year for Baylor. Anyone
he spit on somebody else.
No, he didn't. The one game he played in for Baylor in 2024 was the loss to LSU in the bowl game. It was the only game he played for the Baylor Bears last season.
He would be suspended for the next 2 quarters, correct? Regardless.
I think so. I mean, unsportsmanlike penalties should roll over.
Where's
Carl done at? Where's Carl DeCat at?
A.J. Halsey.
Well, that was fighting. That's a different penalty. The rules are very, because there was if it was unsportsmanlike, it didn't roll over. If it was fighting, it did. Like, I don't remember the whole dynamic.
Spitting.
But that's why
if you're ejected.
That's why you have Carl DeCat in the chat.
That's right, Carl DeCat in the chat
to let us know. The guys that I have.
CIC.
But the good thing about big Brendan Bett, number 90, is he wasn't one of the guys I put a star next to. So even if he does play, he's not one of the guys I'm most worried about.
But
the stars I put next to
everybody else is going to be more hydrated because he was clearly hogging the water.
Yeah,
the Gatorade.
The Gatorade. That's what they call it Gatorade.
There you go. The stars that I put next to players is number 94. Obviously, Tyreek Sapp caused problems for LSU last season. Caleb Banks is the guy that probably scares me the most outside of Sapp.
Yeah.
Like I said, 6'6", 330. If he is back, which I would assume he plays this week, I would assume that was probably the plan the whole time, was sit out, but for LIU, USF, be back for Louisiana State University. He's got a very high ceiling. He wreaked havoc against LSU last season. 7 pressures, 3 tackles, a sack, and then a forced fumble/fumble recovery. And he is just a problem on the interior of that offensive line. And so I think 94 and 88 on your defensive on the line can really give LSU some struggles. Another one I put a star next to, number 34, George Gums Jr., redshirt senior. So an experienced guy, played pretty well against USF. Last year against LSU, he had 3 tackles, a TFL, and a sack. And I thought he played well from what I saw in that USF game. And then the linebacking core, number 5 and number 29, Miles Graham and Jaden Robinson Jr., both caught my eyes, both in the USF game and obviously going back last year versus LSU. Graham had 7 tackles, and his season high snaps were versus LSU. He was all over the field. And then Jaden Robinson Jr. also had 7 tackles, and it was his first start. So kind of when they were turning the corner last season was when these guys started getting on the field, and they both played pretty well against USF. I thought they were the 2 bright spots for the Florida defense in that USF loss. But some of my overall takeaways from the USF game, USF got real good push against these guys and were able to be physical with them. And USF, they have athletes, they've got dudes. Their offensive line was able to create holes for the run game for the quarterback, kept him straight up, and they had a really good scheme for keeping ththese guys out of the ball game. They used the quick hitters, screen passes, 3-yard curls, a 5-yard hitch, and just these sorts of quick throws for Byron Brown. They do have the advantage, USF did, of a mobile quarterback that's also just physical, because there were times they got in the backfield and they couldn't bring him down. Mm-hmm. But I thought that they were not as physically imposing against USF as I anticipated. And that could mean good things for LSU. But watching the film on these guys, looking at some of the numbers, watching last year's game, they do bring a lot of concern to my mind. As much as I thought LSU has the advantage in the skill position game of the DBs that Florida has, and the fact that I was not impressed with them at all, this can kind of turn that advantage on its head, where these guys are really good. They're physically imposing. They do run a good bit, some stunts, and LSU struggles with some of that movement, passing off assignments, and we'll see what that looks like with DJ Chester at the helm if he is the center. Lloyd, you have something?
Do you think that you'd see, obviously it feels like maybe this might be I don't want to say a stretch, but LSU did try to stretch the field in week 2. Do you think you go back against the defensive line like you're seeing versus Clemson, go back to that game plan that you used, even if it's DJ Chester?
Yes. I think you're talking about the game plan used against Clemson where it was quick hitters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that might be more what LSU's offense is.
You need to be committed to the run game, yes. But from what I've seen on the film so far against USF, DBs play off, and their front 7 is can cause problems.
And we have, since like y'all covered yesterday, we do have a marked advantage in terms of the wide receiver DB matchup. So I think that's probably a good way to attempt to circumvent these guys, is if you can keep them on their toes. You don't let them plow forward. You make sure that they have to. You make them be quicker than they are strong.
And I think just from what I've seen, DBs playing off in a front 7 that can cause havoc, where you're kind of at a disadvantage because your O-line has not been the best up to this point. That's how it's kind of just the perfect storm for that type of offense, where if they're going to play off Berrien Brown run a 2-yard stop and then just stop, get the ball and go, or a swing pass or a screen. Those things to keep, if the DBs are going to play off the way they have, that's the easiest way to just counteract the problems that these guys can cause because they can. Tyreek Sapp, Caleb Banks, Mashai Boro, Brian Taylor Jr., George Gums, Jaden Woods, and then these linebackers, Miles Graham, Aaron Childs, Jaden Robinson Jr., like they can cause issues for this front for LSU. You combat that with crisp, clean quarterback play where if they make a mistake, you take advantage of it. And like I said yesterday, the DBs are playing off. The front seven can cause problems. Get it out of your hands quick. Simulate the run game with some of those quick hitters. And like Lloyd said, I think that might just be who LSU is. You have speed, you have athletes, you have the ability to stretch the field. But your best game might just be get the ball into 6, 1, 0, 29, 8, 22. Get it in their hands. And on top of that, one thing I saw, they give a lot of opportunities to tight ends. Florida does. Whoa. Mason Taylor had a good game for them, for LSU last season against them. There were a lot of times that linebackers were open for USF in that football game. Now, you don't have your biggest weapon at tight end if you're LSU. But part of me thinks that this is a great game to have Bauer Sharp be featured to where, one, you're going to be stronger in the blocking game because that's one of the reasons you brought Bauer in was to be more physical at the line of scrimmage and help protect your quarterback. But I also think that he is much better than we anticipated as a receiver and in that passing game, that maybe go to 10 a little bit more, kind of the way you did against Clemson, where like even the play he fumbled against Clemson, I thought it was a great play call, great decision, executed well. He just got popped and lost the football. Yeah. And so
I'm not sure it was a catch.
Right. I think LSU did a good job moving the ball against them last year. It's just when the field got shortened, there was less opportunity for the DBs to make mistakes, and that's when the front seven really came out to play. That can still cause problems for LSU this season.
And I'm looking at some of the Florida statistics on the defensive side. Obviously, opponents' points per game. It's hard; these are a little skewed because there's only been 2 games. Points per game, 46th of the country with 18. Opponents' yards per game, however, 391. And you saw LSU be able to eat up yards and time of possession against them last year. Like, that was everything. LSU did everything but win that game on the road.
And that's with them really, I mean, they really clamped down in the last quarter or so when they realized that things were serious against USF. You know, that they were on pace to give up even more yards. Right. Until they said, okay, we need to kind of prove that we're physically bigger than these guys and, you know, get our heads in the game.
Let's spit on them.
And spit on them a little bit.
And then you gave up a PI and an unsportsmanlike conduct on the final drive.
You gave them 30 yards.
And gave USF the ability to go win that football game.
Despite going like punt, punt, punt.
Right.
On their last, you know.
And so this front seven can cause problems for LSU. But I think.
Any front seven.
Right. But this is a very good one. It's not as good as Clemson's, but it is very good.
It's a top 10 in the country. Probably.
You can combat it with scheme and execution. And I think if they go in with a clear plan to take what the defense gives them, get the ball out of Nussmeier's hands, back them up a little bit, get them off kilter, make those DBs guard and tackle, you can have success against this team. But I would say the advantage you had in wide receivers, quarterback, and running back versus the DBs for Florida, they have that advantage of front seven versus your offensive line.
Yep.
And your inability to run the football. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be very intrigued to see what the scheme looks like because I do think it needs to be back to what that Clemson scheme looked like. And I also think they're going to, like, this team is more prone to mistakes than Clemson was.
Yes.
Clemson was way more mature, way more structured. This team can be undisciplined, especially in the back end.
Well, yeah, because we saw it yesterday. Whenever you looked at some of like the secondary stuff, and that's not just secondary. That's just quick change on defense or substitution.
That's coaching. That's a coaching problem more than anything.
It was shocking to see that kind of stuff from somebody that's been there. What, this is year 4 for him as well.
Yeah.
Like, LSU got rid of some of those problems after year 2, where it's like a lot of looking around, looking back at somebody, looking to the sidelines, and it's a quick change on offense, or offense isn't even subbing and you're trying to sub defense. It's like, brother, we all hike it on you. Yeah. And that's at home. On the road, it gets much harder.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm not nearly as.
No, I'm not. I have LSU winning this football game.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a homer win.
No, and
it's just that
LSU's the better team.
Yes,
this disadvantage is the only thing that causes me any worry at all. You are better everywhere else. Like, you have the better quarterback, you have the better skill players, you have the better defense. Your front 7 has an advantage on their offense, their front line offensively. But they have that advantage as well. But so did Clemson. And you went in there with a clear plan of execution, a scheme, and you did it to the best of your abilities.
I think we might be looking at more of a grinded out game than we would like. This is probably good. There's a good chance this is a low scoring affair. Mm-hmm. But there's no reason that toe to tip.
The one thing that the one thing I want to see is LSU take what's there, because they're going to give you those quick hitters. They are not Florida, to me, from what I've seen, they're not afraid of
giving
that up and
break.
letting you get down the field, because they know when you get into a short field, that's when their DBs are less prone to make mistakes, and their front 7 can cause problems.
I wish we had a 6'7", 240 guy just to post up DBs in the corner.
And so
he had to play with 330.
You're going to be able to get down the field. My biggest thing is when they are undisciplined and they make a mistake, you have to take advantage of it. When Varian Brown dusts a cornerback that turns his head or whatever and is open 10 yards away from the DB, you don't underthrow it and throw an interception. Or when somebody loses their assignment on Xavion, you don't try to dump it off to Jawan this way instead of Xavion in the open field. Or when Bauer is open right there underneath, you get him the football instead of rolling out and trying to force something downfield. This is such a good opportunity for Nussmeier to get back in rhythm. I want to see it, because this is a Nussmeier game. You have to manage the football game, take advantage of mistakes they make, and be the best quarterback in the country.
You say that, but do you think that there's a version of Brian Kelly that goes back to what they did last year after what happened against Louisiana Tech, where he goes, I've inserted myself on offense before, and it was against Florida, where they dominated time of possession, line of scrimmage, everything, like the amount of plays run, and you weren't able to score touchdowns. But do you think that this is one of those, like, maybe I have a good feel for what this defense does?
I don't know.
I think if anything, it's going to look like Clemson. Like, if anything, the game plan in the game is going to look like Clemson. And in that game, Nussmeier took what was there and didn't force anything. Played comfortable. That's what I want to see Saturday night.
I think that if Kelly's going to look at the difference between the offensive lines alone from last year and this year, and that would be enough, I would think, to deter him from maybe trying to replicate a lot of that game plan.
And my only thing is, if Kelly inserts himself into the play calling in week 3, this early in the season,
I'm not so much saying as it's I need to insert myself because of what happened last week. It's more so
he just has a
like maybe he has a good feel for because that has to play into it a little bit of like what I did last year. Like it worked, and so I didn't know if it's just like, hey, I did prepare for this team before.
But did it work, or did you play right into Florida's hand? Because I genuinely think they're okay with you getting into the red zone.
Yeah.
Like that's are
where those big bodies come to play.
And then that's when Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks and George Gumbs Jr. and they go get after your quarterback, and you have a sack, a forced fumble, you have 4 TFLs by Tyreek Sapp. Like, that's what they want, is to let those guys eat. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, and I do think they're going to come in with something to prove. Florida is. Like, as much as you think they might just be dead in the water, I don't think so. I think they could be, if LSU goes out there and handles them, then they could be dead in the water. They're not there yet. And because if they win this football game this weekend against a number 3 team in the country on the road, they're going to be shot back up confidence level wise, and it'll be a completely different